So we probably just finished listening to Donald's little inauguration, right? His second inaugural address. And I'm sure it's going to be just as awesome as the Gettysburg Address. It's going to be inspiring, soaring rhetoric, and it's just going to motivate us to, jump on the Trump train and get this country back to greatness, right? What you won't see with this inaugural address is you won't hear him quote a Bible quote. He said he's not a fucking Christian. So if anything, that's kind of an exciting development, right? All these he's sitting there pandering to the Christians, but he said he's not a Christian. So we got an atheist, right? So we got an atheist president. You might say, God bless America, but he's not going to be like Eisenhower. Okay, everybody bow your heads. He's not going to be like a Jimmy Carter. According to the book of Micah, right? He's not going to quote the Bible. He's not going to lead the prayer. He's not going to do a sermon. No. He's not a Christian. He's not a Christian. He said it. He told you guys he's not a Christian. My God, he lies all the fucking times. Whenever he actually tells you the fucking truth, you're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Well, I'm sure he misspoke. He's also not going to talk about nuclear proliferation. He's not going to talk about universal health care. And like Jimmy Carter, unlike Jimmy Carter, he's not going to declare a war on poverty or a war on ignorance or a war on injustice. What he will do, he'll stoke immigration fears. You had that big story with so-called Amelia Clark. Did we ever figure out who that woman was on the subway? You got the woman on the subway just completely engulfed in flames. She's standing up, she's leaning over, she's moving her legs and just engulfed in flames. Cop walks by. Oh shit, is this something we should do about? Another cop walks by. Wait a second, should we intervene on this thing? They don't know how to figure out a fire, right? What do we do with the fire? Do we need rifles? What kind of... do we handcuff the fire? I don't know how to... What do we do with the fire? That's a whole nother department. I don't get how to put out a fire. And so, a lot of people are looking at this story and they're sitting there calling for the head of that Guatemalan guy, that Sebastian Zapata. And you know what? If he lit a woman on fire, he deserves to have the book thrown at him. But what I'm not going to believe is that here in America, here in this country, that you're not saying that your love for your fellow man is why you want to see justice. You're not pissed off that a homeless person got fucking burnt the fuck up, so therefore you want justice. How many times do you walk past the damn homeless person? You want to actually sit there and talk about culpability. The richest country in the world, you got 22 empty houses per homeless person. It would only take 15,000 houses per state. It would only take $5 billion of the what? The fucking $800 billion military budget, or the 100,000, the fucking Social Security budget? $5 billion. Where there's a will, there's a way. If we had a will, if we gave a shit, if we were a Christian nation, if we were good people, we would have already built tiny houses for the homeless. We don't give a shit. That's why you're not going to hear a war on poverty. I don't even know if he'll talk about the working class. A lot of times they'll mention the middle class, but sometimes they won't even mention the middle class. So the middle class will get a mention, but not the homeless, not the poverty, and definitely not the working classes. So basically, working classes on down don't get a mention. So Trump's going to stoke the immigration fears. Maybe he'll even mention Sebastian Zapata. Well, we're going to deport him, We're going to push this case as far as we can push it. Should we build houses? No. Come on. It's a PR problem. They'll sweep it under the damn rug. So the fact that there's 330 million Americans, you can get 600 Americans to build one house. If you was to get 600 Americans to build one tiny house, homelessness would be cured. But we'd have to give a damn. You'd have to be organized, and somebody would have to pay for it. $5 billion sounds like a chunk of money for regular folks, but for the budget, we sent fucking 40 billion, 50 billion, 100 billion to the goddamn genocide and the fucking Ukraine war and all the the empire, Social Security, so a bunch of old people can sit on their fucking asses. They can take that check to pay for their housing. You'll pay for a bunch of money for prisons. You'll pay a bunch of money. You'll pay billions of dollars for cops and DAs and prisons and ICE and a whole bunch of fucking money when it comes to deporting Sebastian Zapata. But you're not even going to figure out who Amelia Carter is. What's her name? Did we ever figure out who she was? Did we ever release that video? Did we ever look for the ID? Did we ever find what her dental record? We're going to try to find out who she is through her dental records? Through DNA? Why don't you just release the goddamn motherfucking surveillance footage, you stupid assholes? If the MTD, if they would actually release the fucking video, then we would see that Sebastian Zapata was actually guilty. We would also see that who Amelia Carter is. We would see her face. We would see if the AI generated or if the second image that isn't, so airbrushed. We'll see if the second image was actually her face. Some people are saying that she was working a job, working at the fucking hospital, doing this, doing that. So when people are sitting there talking about throw the book at Sebastian, okay, I'm not totally against it, but I'm not going to pretend that you want to spend millions of dollars because you care about justice, you care about love, you care about compassion. If anything, you're saying you're more on the side of wickedness. When it comes to wickedness, you'll spend billions of dollars. But when it comes to compassion and goodness, build them a house. Where are we going to get that money from? The money you just spent to, house them in prison? The money that you are housing the DA and the cops in? You know how they have housing? How are we going to pay for his housing? Deport him at any cost. What's it cost? $10,000 to put him on a fucking plane? Well, hell, $10,000 is what it would cost to put him in a tiny house. So when people want to fucking get all pissed off and it's just wickedness. We're going to spend millions of dollars on wickedness and not a goddamn sin on love and compassion and brotherhood. Not a fucking sin on brotherhood. And that's just a goddamn shame because homelessness out of 330 million people, it's we can tackle the thing. It's a 500,000. You would think that would be easy to tackle. Well, let's see. There's 330 million of us. 500,000 of us don't have homes. So if 600 of us got together, we could take care. If 600 people took care of one homeless person, you've done your quota. You've done enough. If each and every state would actually just build 15,000 homes, then that would be enough. But since everybody wants to pan it off on somebody else, and if, a city does have good, nice, lenient homeless rules, then that'll encourage homelessness. It really does, and so therefore it is a national issue. And so if the U.S. government doesn't do shit, then it's never going to get fucking solved. And it's like, fucking shit, we can't even take care of Americans' problems. People say they're on drugs and got mental health issues. Yeah, because they're fucking homeless. Their lives are miserable. Why wouldn't they be on drugs? And then why wouldn't they have mental issues? They're fucking homeless, and you assholes are just walking around like it's the best goddamn party you've ever fucking had. You're dressed nice. You got all this wealth. You got a nice fucking big fucking yacht, caviar, mansions and shit. Spruce goose. You know what I'm talking about.